Hey, welcome back to Rust Order Garage. It is time to get back on the $5,000 budget build, 56 Chevy pickup. What are we doing today? Today we're doing rear suspension work, which I would think would be just kind of assembly, but it isn't. There's one thing that's going to be, hopefully goes smooth. We'll see. All right, so I've got the rear suspension disassembled because I need to replace the backing plates on this axle. They have rusted away. There's nothing really there. And those are the backing plates, which are actually the mounts, I think, for, or part of the, at least the cover for the inside emergency brake shoes there. So rather than have water just getting all up into that, I bought them new. Not bad. They're just Dorman copies of the GM things. They're like $42 or something for the pair, but that's not a big deal. The big deal is going to be, will the center pin lock bolt come out in one piece? That is the one thing that I always hate to deal with, and hopefully it comes out. But before we do that, I'm going to start doing a little bit of assembly, and then we'll get to that point of taking that rear apart. All right, first thing, front spring hangers. They were on before with temporary hardware. Now we're going to use the real stuff that came with the hangers, because these have lock nuts, crimp style lock nuts, like a Chevy small block or big block Chevy rocker arm nut. So once you crank them down, they should not loosen up. At least that's the idea. And I didn't want to use them for the temporary mount and then take them off and on. And you get the deal. So we'll get these 4 bolts in, crank it down, and then do the same thing on the other side. All right, front hangers are on. Next thing is going to be, I'll bolt the leaf springs up to those. And I'm putting gloves on because I'm going to be using anti-seize, my favorite thing ever. Notice the leaf springs are not painted. They are as removed from the junkyard. And they're going to be just fine. They don't need to be painted. If anything, I'll spray bomb them when they're under the car, under the truck, later on. Whatever. It's a street car, it doesn't matter. But I am going to anti-seize the bolts. Got new bolts that came with the hanger kit. And I'm going to anti-seize the shoulder part of the bolts, so they won't seize in the bushings. So someday, somebody else who ends up with this truck somehow wants to take it apart, they can thank me. Because I don't think I'll ever be taking them out. But we'll do the right thing. Make it nice for future removal. Whenever that may be. All right, I jumped ahead a little bit just because, let's not have that fall off the stand there. It's just basic wrenching work. You don't want to see me do that. Just remove the calipers, caliper brackets, rotors, one which was stuck on there and I had to warm it up a little bit. Now it's off. But here is the next problem. These were the parking brake shoes. There's the lining that fell off. I don't even think there's anything on the other side. And there's nothing left here. This used to be the backing plate, but I'm going to need brake shoes. Yeah, parking brake shoes. And the other thing is I got to open up the backing plates, the new plates. Do they come with this adjuster? I don't know. That may be something else to add to the budget. Let me get the box and see what's in there. Well, here they are. And there is no adjuster on there. So, and there's so little left. I guess I'll figure out which way they mount, but hopefully I can reuse that adjuster. I assume it unbolts, and if it unbolts, then I can clean it up and get it off of there. So I guess the next issue will be, let's see what's inside this rear. We're going to find out together. It's supposed to be a 342 posi, but it's an S10 rear. That means gov lock, so, you know, that's not really a great thing. But, you know, it could be better than a one-wheel peel until it explodes. We'll see. I have posi units from 4th Gen F-bodies if needed to swap out. Of course, we're not going to do that right away. So let's open this up and see what's in it. All right, here we go. There is nothing I hate worse than the smell of gear oil. Let me tell you. Oh, man, I hate it. Let's see. We're on a budget here. I try to save this gasket. If there is a gasket. Okay, there is. And it's stuck. That's not very good if the gasket is. Well, we'll see if it leaks. We have to spend another 5 hours on a gasket. Okay, guess what? Well, it's not a gov lock. And I don't think it's a posi. I don't see any clutches, and there's no S-spring in there. That just looks like a regular old open diff to me, which is not a horrible thing. Yes, it'll be a one-wheel peel for the moment. But more importantly, you get a rag, is it a 342? Because that is really what I'm more concerned with. I'd like it to be the 342. That's a good gear. All right, found the numbers. 1241. It is in fact a 342 rear, which is good. But as you can see in there, there's no S-spring and there's no madness that you would see in a gov lock system. So it's just a 342 open, which is fine. It's a good gear ratio. Backlash feels excellent. There's no slop in this thing. So that's going to be good. But the next win, if there is any win, will be to see if that bolt comes out so I can get the axles out and get these backing plates swapped. Okay. Now, I'll rotate this in case I get lucky and it does come out, just so the center pin doesn't go sliding away on me. Come on, give me a break. Let's see. I think it's okay. Maybe I can't tell yet. Come on, baby. Yes, we're in good shape. Just gotta get it out. Come on. That's the other hard part, getting the dang bolt out of here. I guess I don't need it to come out completely, as long as I can get the pin out and slide the bolt back in like that and get the pin out of here. And I can stink like gear oil. All right. Now get some needle nose, some different gloves. I don't smell like this garbage. And get those C-clips out. Success. All right, I know I didn't have you in close, but you know, This is something I think that's pretty regularly done. So with the center cross pin out, I'm going to push an axle in and get to the C-clip, which just fell into the rear, which means I'll be using a magnet to fish it out. All right, sometimes that happens. Let's see, we'll push it on the other one, and that one just fell into. Okay, so no needle nose needed, just a magnet that's gonna stink like gear oil now. All right, just slid the axles out a little bit, and let's see if I can get down here and find my C-clips. I think I got one of them. There's one. Give me number 2. It's like playing Operation Blind. Oh, something moved. Where is it? All right, found both the clips. Get the axles out. And get these vacuum plates swapped out. Get on there. Okay, we are moving forward. It worked. Took a little head scratching to get it lined up the right way because I had nothing to reference because it was all rusted away. But I got it on there. I got the adjuster freed up now, so when you pull the lever, the thing comes out and falls on the ground. But that won't happen once I have the new shoes on there that I got to buy now. Let me put it back together now. See what I did? All for you. I show you how it works, and now I got to clean it all up. All right, got it back together. I got to get the new emergency brake shoes, which are normally what hold it together. So this should go on like this, I think. Is that right? Looks right. And yeah, just looks very different because there was nothing there before. So we'll get this bolted on, and then I got to do the same thing on the other side, and then I got to look up the emergency brake shoes to order. Rear axle all back together. Now, I cannot put the brakes on because I just looked up parking shoes and adjusters, and they're actually pretty cheap. So, the rotors are going to have to come back off. So, I'll just leave the caliper brackets off and whatever. Go from there. So, yeah. Painted a little black paint there, which means I'm going to have to come back and spray bomb this axle. And yeah, I guess I'll paint the springs too. It'll look good for 5 minutes. Is what it is. So we're moving along here. Now I'm going to simple, just bolt up the rear shackles on both sides, throw the U-bolts back on for now, and not tighten them down all the way because I still need to set the pinion angle. And that I will not be doing until I've got pretty much as much weight on the truck as I can to get it close to ride height and get that angle set. The front is now up in the air again because I took the compressor threaded rods out of there, so those things are on the bump stops. So the frame is not going to be at ride height whatsoever. It might be at the right rake, actually, but we'll see. I got to set that pinion angle when I think at least it'll be correct. rear suspension, I guess that's all I can do for now. Once I get the parts for the parking brake, put the calipers back on, caliper brackets, that kind of stuff. I'm not going to run the brake lines until we do the brakes. You may have noticed there are no rear shocks yet. That's on purpose. I'm not going to do the rear shock setup until later. I have a reason. We'll go over it when the time comes. But for now, the U-bolts are in. The axle is in loose. That doesn't look like it's on the pin. I'm going to have to hit that with a hammer and make sure that's on the pin. But it's just sitting there temporarily anyway because I'm not going to weld anything till I set the pinning angle. But I guess that's going to be it for this one. This is going to be a quickie. I thought there'd be more, but I guess not. All right, so at least we are back to having a rolling chassis now. From now on, well, just about everything is just going to be build it. No more mock-up, just build it. The cab's got to come down. Got some work to do on the cab before that gets mounted permanently. But there's no more put it together, mock it up, take it back apart. At least I don't think so. I'm not sure. We'll see. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.